welcome back to the Man Cave Workshop, and thank you very much for joining me again. So the case has been cleaned up. It's come up pretty well actually. It is very pink. It's shockingly pink. Anyway, there's a little bit of a rub on the corner here, but apart from that, it's come up rather splendidly. So I was looking at the I was cleaning off the dial face on this, and I noticed there's a tiny bit of fading on it. You know, where it's been in the top of the case, and that got me thinking, because one of them silly eBay purchases you do that you think, oh yeah, that's great that, and then it arrives and you bought it and the seller had described it right and you think, oh, I should have read it. Well, I've got moving on to centre stage now is this guy. Now this is a Roberts R250, I think. It's like the wooden case one. That's what caught my eye. I think it's a 760. I'll just open it up, have a look. Let's have a look. I'm sure it's a R760, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's the R760. Now I was looking at this when I got it. I thought, wow, look at the fading on that. I don't know if it shows up in the camera, but if you look at the difference there, how it's faded to this perfect shape of the top of one of these cases. So that tells me that this has been changed and chopped around, and that once was in a case like this. So then I'm getting to thinking, well, the one I've got here isn't as faded and would look a lot better in here. So after I open it up, they are, I mean, looking at it, they are absolutely identical sets, Roberts Revival sets. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the chassis out of this one, and we're going to use this radio, the chassis and top, not the buttons obviously, in this set, because the fading won't show in this one. And we're going to put this one into this set. So one of them 10-minute jobs where you think, yeah, just an aerial to do. He's turning into a little bit of a project, which is good fun. All good fun. So I'm going to pause the video now while we drag this chassis out and swap over. Right, okay, so that's our chassis out of the pink one into this R760, and it does look a lot better than the one it had in before because of all the fading. So let's put that on one side, and I'm sorry to all the purists out there, but you know, it's one of them things. It looks better. So now let's get on with this pink R250 and let's get it all back together. So carrying on with this R250, the pink one, like I say, we're going to get it all back together again. I've had a look at, in the last video, I did ask if anybody knew about any of these caps that are particularly critical and need changing. And apparently this 1000 cap here and this 470 cap here, I don't know if you can see that, they could do with changing. And looking at this one, they've already been changed. Also, the chip next to it looks like it's had some modification, not sure. So anyway, we're going to put this all back together again and give it a spin. So I'll just pause the video now and we'll get the thing back together.
Hey, welcome to the Man Cave Workshop. On the bench we have the Roberts R250, and very, very kindly Sean has left it for me to reassemble. So, without any further ado, my famous phrase, that's what we're going to do. So we've got the two side panels here. I'll just pop these other bits out of the way just for the moment, get the radio out of the way, and just drag the case back in. Where are we? There we are. We need to pop in the side panels, or one of the side panels first. Just trying to keep this in shot because this is a very strange bench in a lot of ways. nothing's where it's supposed to be from my point of view. And then we can pop the radio back into its case, connect up the speaker wires first. There we go. And then angle the radio in, put the other side cheek in, making sure that I get it the right way around, because this one's been slightly modified to accept a non-standard aerial. I'm just not sitting quite right up there. There we go. So that's that one in, and then we need the aerial, which is the non-standard aerial. This is a 10 section aerial with a reach up as far as the International Space Station. It's not a modification I've ever done on one of these sets, however it's been done really well, and it might be a modification that I actually end up doing in future. I'll just move that up. I'm just making sure that you're still in shot there. And we've got what the Man Cave Man has put on is a loop to go around the non-standard aerial in place of the cleat. And we can just screw down the aerial until it starts to bite. Then hold the aerial in place and tighten up the screw underneath. That's got it. Slide that loop down. Could do with just nipping up a little bit tighter. And then, bizarrely, I thought there was a screw missing there, but I found it. Need to put on the power jack onto the side. There's 2 screws there on the back door. Usually in my own workshop I can get this bang on first time, but this is on camera and it's on a very, very strange workbench, so it's not going to play nice. So I'm just going to have to loosen that first one off so that I can get the second one there to bite into place. That's got him. That's that on there. Now we're putting the back panel on, which keeps everything nice and neat and tidy. Just going to take these out onto the bench. And we'll put the small screws in first. There are some non-standard screws to put in, but they do the job really quite well. And it is only to hold the back door on. Sorry, to hold the back panel, not the back door. And then these are the 2 non-standard ones, which I'll need a different screwdriver for. And then the last 2 screws following this one will be the 2 shoulder screws that sit just behind where the carrying handle is. So I'll close that back up. You can see the hole there for the, I call them the shoulder screws because they're on the shoulder of the radio. And that just holds everything nice and safe and secure. Don't have to be tight, just have to be nipped up. If you over tighten them you will stress the plastic inside and it will break the little clip that it fits into. So there it is, all back together. Now the one thing that I haven't put back on yet is the badge, which is there. Found it. And this is just a press fit into there. Now on the other side of there, what you can do, and I usually choose not to do, what you can do is melt the plastic on the end of the pins, which will hold it safe and secure. You can see that this is a brand new badge and it's got the points on there. Well, once it's through the case, you can actually, with your soldering iron or a heat gun, just melt the ends, and that stops it pulling back through. But what I tend to do is put a little dab of glue on each one of these prongs and just poke it through. That way I'm not damaging the badge, and the badge can get removed at a later date. So there is the R250 back together, and what I'm going to do now is just give it a quick test and just check on the man cave's handiwork, because I don't know whether this works or not. All he's asked me to do is to put it back together. So we've got the tone switched down, we've got FM selected, the set switched off, and what I'll do is I'll start at the bottom end of the FM scale.
Went through with the goalkeeper. Look for the space, scored beautiful goals, but he gave me responsibility. I mean, I used to collect the registers.
Yeah, that's good. And it's bang on the numbers too. Pull up this massive aerial. Yeah, that's working absolutely spot on. I do like this aerial modification that is done by putting the 10 section replacement cheaper aerial from China, but I have several of these at my own workshop. I do like that, and I may actually employ that idea in the future because it doesn't look out of place. The one thing I will mention about these aerials is if you buy them direct from Roberts, they are £16 plus the delivery plus the VAT, and it's an expensive way to keep these radio sets working, so finding an aerial that will fit in its place is absolutely outstanding, and all credit to the Man Cave for that. The last thing I want to mention is this radio, and I'll unplug it now. This did, as the Man Cave mentioned, come with those capacitors already changed, and the audio IC, which was the 2201X1 chip, already replaced, and with a DIP 8 socket underneath it. That is something that I actually do as routine with these sets, and I believe that although the Man Cave man bought this set on eBay, he didn't buy it directly from me, but perhaps previously I've sold this set on the internet, and the person that bought it from me has then resold it, and it's actually ended up on the Man Cave Workshop bench. So it appears like it's come back to me. Doesn't always happen, but there we go. Anyway, there's the R250 back together again, all working, and my very great thanks to the Man Cave Workshop for inviting me in and allowing me to put this back together for him. Maybe he's learned something along the way too. I'll catch you later.
Well, there we go. A big thank you to Cody's for calling round to the Man Cave Workshop and reassembling this Roberts R250 for us. That's the end of this video and this series on this R250. Thank you for joining us, and as always, be good to each other. Catch you in the next one.